Let's do this thing. Let's do it. All right. We're live.
Yay, cool.
Geek. We're talking The Walking Dead, issue number 49. I have no idea what episode this is. Like 64?
No, I have, because you have a very specific numbering process that I guess is linear, but it's not. It's I have a hard time. But I think it's in the 60s for sure.
Yeah, we're in there somewhere. Yeah, not every episode makes it to air, so that.
Well, you just don't count those. Just ignore those.
Yeah. So, this cover, I want to say, not necessarily content-wise, but it's a pretty cool cover because it's one of the only covers we've had in the recent run that has been multiple colors and not like all blue or all red or it's an interesting shot of Carl holding Zombie Daddy's hand is what it looks like. They made a good job of making like Rick look like he's just
not in good shape.
Yeah, he looks like meat.
And while it's not one color, it is one attitude, and that is grumpy Carl. Carl is clearly an unhappy Carl on this cover.
Angry Carl and the Zombie Daddy is what I put on my notes.
I said grumpy Carl. So he was not happy, not having it.
Yeah. And we open up to Michonne basically picking off survivors on the governor's team.
And Tyrese's head, which is she's sad about. Because I assume Tyrese's head has been sitting there for some time just going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Or, something similar, which we'll discuss in a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
And then we cut over to Carl and Rick. And it's a conversation that goes a little bit like, are you hungry? No. Well, you should eat something. Fine.
Yeah, and just the
like 2 pages
of grumpy Carl, and it's but
his mom died,
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah,
he's upset about that, and he
Judith,
Rick, and I see this so early in this scene as he's offering things to Carl that are rapidly being rejected.
Yeah,
he has to ask for an assist. Because he's like, can you open this? Because it was a pull-top can, and I hadn't really done the math, but one-hand pull-top can, probably a tricky operation. I guess you can kind of hold it with your feet and kind of lawnmower it up or something, but again, I could just imagine Carl going like, fine. Stupid one-handed man.
Well, I thought that was interesting, too, because I do remember... Kirkman saying that I had it just a second before you did. I knew it was Kirk something. I was like, Kirkland? No, that's not right. That's Costco. It's been that kind of day. I remember him saying something in an interview about how he would probably, if he had to go back and do it again, he would not get rid of Rick's hand because he has to write things in like that all the time. And has to sort of manage that situation. It's not, it's not a short-term situation that can be managed. You have to think about that for every single thing that Rick does. And we mentioned it with one of the last covers where he's holding a shovel, in a graveyard, as though he's been burying people.
It's not going to work.
Yeah, not going to work with a two-handed shovel. So it's just it's an interesting little bit there that he does have to now deal with that forever.
Yeah, it'd been nice if the governor had just taken a finger. That would have. I still think got the message across. But
agreed. Yeah.
But Penny was hungry, and so.
Yeah, he needed a chicken bucket of hand. So. All right. So from there.
Yeah, and Rick's wound's starting to act up. You can see he's kind of, he's a little ginger at moments. It's acting up. He's in a little bit of pain.
Yeah. So basically, they want to go find some shelter. They stop in a store, and Rick's like, "Hey, did you find anything?" Carl's like, "Just some crappy cereal."
Yeah.
With zombie marshmallows in every box.
That's right. Because and the biggest zombie marshmallow comes out of the back room, and my note for that was, so I assume you're a Rocky Horror Picture Show fan of some degree. Yeah, so I had that down there that it was Riff Raff Overall Zombie came out because the zombie did look like Riff Raff if Riff Raff wore overalls. Which I don't believe we ever saw Riff Raff wear overalls.
No.
But he was a very Riff Raff reminiscent zombie.
Yeah. And they had a conversation, I should say, just prior to that, where Rick says, "You know what? Don't use your gun. We don't want to attract any roamers." So Rick gets this one in the head with the axe. Doesn't quite kill it. Tells Carl to flee, and then he's attacked by another one, which then gets shot, and Carl's like, "I didn't know what to do, so I shot him."
And then Rick's like, "Fine," and then Rick fires. So now they're like, "Come on, since we've done it."
So then they want to go find a house. They want to find shelter, something a little more secure than the store that they were in, and they do manage to find something. And I love the fact there's so much attention paid to Rick being in the bathroom, like even to the point where like the door clicks shut, click, and he's looking for antibiotics. He's going through the medicine cabinet and he finds a bottle and he eats all of them. He takes all the antibiotics at once. There's like 6 frames of him sitting there cussing down antibiotics.
What could possibly go wrong with such a approach?
And then he lifts his shirt and you get kind of a shot of a gash on his tummy, and again there's all of these like zombie noises, and they go Huurk and Hisk.
Oh, I missed it. I was familiar with I have to go back. I missed it, but yeah, it's not good for Rick right now, and then he's just down, a year's worth of something. We don't even really know what it is. It's just in a bottle.
Antibiotics, yeah.
And heads back out to the main room, and he's like, we can stay on this level. It seems safe. And Carl's worried about, he's asking questions about everybody else. So maybe we can find this person, and maybe we can find that person. And he, goes, "Dad, I really miss Mom."
Yeah.
To which Rick says,
well, I was going to say, Rick was saying, I don't think we should go looking for other people. I think we should wait for them to find us. It's better if we just stay in one place. And which I couldn't quite decide if that was him, like, just lazy and sick and tired, or if he really meant it. Like, wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I got to think his current condition influenced that position a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But so you, Jeans, you are, you would take a much more modest amount of antibiotics, I'm sure. But should you be in that circumstance in general, are you let's go look for the other people, or stay put and they'll find us?
I think, given the circumstances, maybe give it a day or two and then go. I don't know that. I don't know that I would be, you just lost your home and your family and all your friends. You might need to take a breather a little bit. I don't know that I would be, but I couldn't sit there for like a month. You know what I mean? I couldn't just stay there. I would have to get moving eventually, I think.
Yeah, it depends if Netflix is up and running. Actually, probably isn't. What their DVD selection is like.
There you go. What they've got on the Xbox to play with, yeah. What about you? You get up and go, or you hang out?
I think I'm kind of with you with your plan, and I think I would need a little me time. I need kind of a little. I need to kind of regroup here, kind of collect myself. A lot of events, but then there's safety in numbers, particularly in numbers of people that you know and trust, and
Right.
so I think it's absolutely worth the effort to see what you could do, because they can't. You wouldn't assume that they could be too far away.
Right.
At this point in time. So I do some looking. But it's tough because everybody kind of scattered at the end. So who knows where anyone is.
Right. Yeah.
And as Carl's talking to Rick at the end of this episode, Rick basically stops responding.
Yeah. Which happened on the show as well.
Yes. Yeah, which is, I'm looking forward to talking about the next issue and comparisons to the show, because I mean the events of this issue and next issue all took place in one episode.
Right.
See how I did all issue episode and kept them straight. Pretty impressive.
Very good. It's impressive.
So proud of myself. But it all took place in one episode of the television show, and they stayed pretty true. I mean, in general, to the tonality and stuff, but yeah, next issue's got some moments, so
it does,
as they do. That's kind of what they do.
This was a not an action-packed issue. This was I don't want to use the word boring, but there was a lot of, like, Rick in the bathroom, a couple of pages.
That was
Rick and the Antibiotics, a whole page. Just, I don't know if he just wasn't sure where he wanted to go next and was kind of, trying to sort it out, or just he wanted to really, let everybody calm down a little bit between the exciting bits. But this was very deliberately slow. There were a lot of frames given to sort of, I don't want to say inconsequential events, but eating antibiotics,
can be established.
The grand scheme of a zombie apocalypse, I'm just going to go with, it's pretty low. So.
Yeah, even the Michonne, I mean, there was a number of panels at the beginning, and there was, at least a little more activity there. She's going to. Now, do you think every one that she killed in that early part were zombies, or do you think there were some that were just because it looked to me like there's one guy I couldn't tell, is this a survivor who's saying, oh, I'm injured, or is this a zombie coming at her?
Oh, the guy that was on his belly crawling. Yeah. I think he was a survivor. But I mean they do know now that, they'll come back if you don't, cut him, and if you don't sort of stab him in the brain somehow, except for apparently the zombie marshmallow. So I thought that's kind of just what she was doing, just kind of going up and making sure that they don't present any more problems.
Fair enough.
But that guy looked like he was alive. He didn't look zombies. They really do. And even in the show, they turn quickly into sort of grotesque looking. They get necrotic really fast, and he looked kind of normal.
Yep.
So I thought he was a survivor.
I think so too.
Okay.
Well, not anymore. But
yeah. Secure that.
Survivor's a little straw. He's a slow dyer. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right, good. Well, there we go. So there
we go. That was quick.
Issue 49. Quick because there wasn't like a huge amount of actions, but some fun stuff coming up along. And this was really the way the comics break. The Rick and Carl looking back at the prison is the end of the first compendium.
Right.
That's the big event.
Okay.
And I forget where the second one ends, but they end big, Yeah. And so this little lull, and now things are going to pick up again, I'm sure. So.
Yes, they absolutely do. Yay!
So I think Angry Carl or Grumpy Carl would be an outstanding name for this episode.
I like Huurk.
No, that's good.
Huurk.
Huurk is good. Huurk is good.
I've been injured a lot. I don't think I've ever made that noise. Ever. I don't think I've ever said Huurk.
I'm with you.
Yep. Anyway, okay, all right, woo! On to episode. Oh, now you got me doing it. We've traded places. Look at that.
There you go. That has to.
Issue 50. Issue 50 is up next.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
See ya.
Good night.